In the top stories, Minister Philip calls for changes to prison work program. Guyana to partner with UAE to develop one-card data management system, and Taiwanese train for possible war with China as tensions rise. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Thursday, the 2nd of March 2023. I'm Jason Davis. Nationally, Junior Minister responsible for Social Development and Gender Affairs, the Honorable Iselin Philip, has advocated for changes to be made to the work program at His Majesty's Prison, which would grant certain rights to female inmates currently being enjoyed by males. During her appearance on the debut edition of In Focus, the new St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service television and radio program on Wednesday, Minister Philip said that women inmates should be given equal privileges.
One of the things for our prison program is that, we try to engage the women just like we would for male inmates in terms of skills development, educational development. Women are supported in terms of doing little crafts and those kinds of things. It could be an opportunity for women to leave the prison to display what they can do, and also to have opportunities to contribute to community development as we have the male inmates doing. Why can we not have women go out and do some of the gardening beautification of our roundabouts? We see our men going out and doing painting in certain offices. Why can women not also get opportunities to develop those skills? There is no reason in this day and age as to why that policy still exists.
She noted that the Department of Gender Affairs ran a program for women in prison which highlighted several gender inequalities, such as women being unable to go outside the prison to perform community service. This, she said, is an example of gender inequality. Minister Philip briefly explained the difference between gender equality and gender equity.
So when we think about the difference between gender equity and gender equality, I'll start with gender equality. So we think about equality as being able, both males and females, men and women, being able to access the same rights and privileges that have typically been ascribed legislatively, systematically, institutionally. Now, historically, when it comes to the women's movement, the feminist movement, it was really advocating for equality, because we know there was a time when women were not allowed to vote, where women were not allowed to go to school, where women were not allowed to access just what was standard ascribed rights and privileges in society just by virtue of the fact that they were female. When it comes to equity, we want to think about how we can actually achieve equality when it was denied historically for years. So equity is about fairness.
Minister Philip used, for example, the fact that there are fewer women in representation and leadership, noting that the initiative taken by Prime Minister the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew to, quote, appoint women in leadership positions is an effort to be more equitable in terms of distribution of power and resources, end quote. On Monday, the Dean Glassford Primary School became the 6th primary school on St. Kitts to participate in the Ministry of Environment and the Taiwan Technical Mission's bin placement program, which falls under the Solid Waste Management and Recycling Project. Through this recycling awareness campaign, plastic recycling bins are being installed in primary schools across the island, and students are being informed on what should be recycled and the significance of recycling itself. Prime Minister and Parliamentary Representative for the St. Peter's community, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, and Minister of Environment, the Honorable Dr. Joel Clark, were on hand to witness the introduction of the project at Dean Glassford Primary. The Prime Minister addressed the students and impressed upon them the need to protect the environment and, by extension, the planet. Minister Clark used the occasion to share a story with the students that illustrated the dangers of the improper disposal of plastic materials and its harmful effects on the planet. At the end of the session, all of the students made the commitment to use fewer plastic bottles and to properly dispose of them when used. The establishment of an annual National Day of prayer in St. Kitts and Nevis was described as extremely successful as thousands of people across the Federation spent time on Tuesday in prayer, praise and worship. Throughout the day, persons congregated in churches or spent time at the temporary prayer stations, while others used personal time to communicate with God. The Ministry of Ecclesiastical and Faith-Based Affairs, in collaboration with the church community, organized a series of one-hour worship sessions attended by various government departments and ministries, high school students and the general public. The sessions were held at the Rivers of Living Water Christian Center. Each one-hour session was led by a different church ministry. The day's activities climaxed at 7 p.m. with a grand session attended by cabinet ministers, senior government officials and persons from all walks of life. Many persons have expressed that the activity should be repeated later in the year, given the tremendous success, quote-unquote, of the national